Nobody is coming to save your vision. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop waiting for permission to become who you already decided to be. I'm the Stoic Shadow. I built everything alone. No team behind me in the beginning. No partner splitting the weight. No one to call at 2 a.m. when the doubt got loud enough to drown out the plan. Just me, a closed door, and a version of myself I hadn't earned yet. People romanticize solitude until they actually live inside it. They think building alone means peace and quiet. Nobody warns you about the noise that shows up when there's no one else in the room to distract you from your own mind. I almost lost myself more than once. Not to failure, to silence, to the kind of isolation that starts to feel like punishment instead of purpose. Today I'm giving you 5 rules for building alone without losing your mind in the process. Rule number 5 is the one that saved me when I was closest to quitting, not from lack of money, but from lack of anyone to prove it to. Rule number 1. Stop mistaking loneliness for weakness. There was a stretch where I didn't talk to another human being for days at a time. Not because I was avoiding people, because I was building something that didn't exist yet, and nobody around me could see it the way I could. I started to think something was wrong with me. Why does this feel so heavy? Why does nobody understand what I'm doing? I mistook the ache of solitude for proof that I was failing. I thought a normal person wouldn't feel this alone doing something they chose. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Here's what he meant in plain English. He never said it would feel good. He said stop debating it and start doing it. The loneliness isn't a signal that you're broken. It's the tax on doing something nobody else has agreed to do yet. Every man who built something real paid this tax before anyone clapped for him. Stoic response: do this instead. Stop checking if the loneliness is normal. It is. Feeling it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something that requires you, specifically, and nobody else can stand in that gap for you. But rule number 2 is the one that almost broke me, because it's about the questions nobody else can answer for you. Rule number 2. Build a council in your head, not around your table. I didn't have mentors. I didn't have a mastermind group. I didn't have anyone in my day-to-day life who had done what I was trying to do. For a long time, I thought that meant I was building blind. Then I started doing something strange. I started asking myself what certain men would say if they were in the room. Not people I knew. People I'd read. Men who had already walked through the exact kind of dark I was standing in. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Here's what that means in simple terms. Half of what stopped me wasn't real. It was a fear I hadn't stress-tested against anyone wiser than my own panic. So I built a council that lived in my head instead of at my table. Marcus when I needed discipline. Seneca when I needed perspective. Epictetus when I needed to remember what was actually in my control. They weren't in the room, but they were never absent either. Stoic response: do this instead. You don't need a room full of people to have counsel. Read the men who already survived what you're going through. Let their words sit where a mentor's voice should be. Silence isn't empty if you fill it with the right minds. Rule number 3 is the one nobody tells you about until it's already happened to them. Rule number 3, protect your mornings like they're guarding your sanity. When you build alone, there's no manager checking if you showed up. No team meeting forcing structure onto your day. I learned the hard way that freedom without structure doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like drowning with no shoreline in sight. My mornings used to be chaos. Wake up, check messages, react to the world before I decided anything for myself. By noon I felt like I'd already lost the day to everyone except myself. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Here's the truth in that. He's saying decide who you are before the world tells you who to be today. I started protecting the first hour of my morning like it was armed security for my mind. No messages, no noise. Just the plan and the man who was going to execute it. That single hour became the only structure I had, and it held everything else together. Stoic response: do this instead. Build one non-negotiable hour that belongs only to your mission before the world gets a vote. Alone doesn't have to mean unstructured. It means you're the only one responsible for building the structure at all. Wait until you hear rule number 4, because this one is about the version of you that shows up when nobody's watching. Rule number 4, talk to yourself like a man you respect. Alone, your inner voice becomes the loudest voice in the room, because it's the only one. And if you're not careful, that voice turns vicious. Mine did. I called myself lazy on slow days, stupid on failed attempts, behind when I compared myself to men who had 10 years and a team I didn't have. I was harder on myself than any boss, any critic, any stranger on the internet ever could have been. And it wasn't discipline. It was self-destruction wearing the mask of high standards. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Here's what he meant. The voice inside your head is not outside of you. It's not the truth handed down from somewhere neutral. It's a choice you make on repeat every single day. I stopped talking to myself like an enemy and started talking to myself the way I'd talk to a younger brother trying his best in the dark. Same standards, different tone. Stoic response: do this instead. Speak to yourself the way a man you respect would speak to someone he believed in. Discipline doesn't require cruelty. The inner voice you feed becomes the only company you have. Feed it like it matters because it's the last one standing in the room. But rule number 5 is the one that decides whether you make it to the finish line or quit 3 feet from it. Rule number 5, let the work be the witness. I used to want someone to see it. The late nights. The rejections nobody knew about. The version of me that kept building when there was no proof it would ever pay off. I wanted a witness. Someone to say, I see what this is costing you. Nobody came. And for a while, that absence felt like the loudest kind of failure. Then something shifted. I stopped needing a witness in the room because the work itself started keeping the record. Every hour I put in was already accounted for, whether anyone clapped or not. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Here's the hard truth underneath that. He's not just talking about enemies. He's talking about becoming a man whose life speaks so clearly that it needs no explanation and no audience. The work doesn't need a witness to be real. It only needs to be done. That's the whole proof. Stoic response: do this instead. Stop building for an audience that isn't there yet. Let the work stand as its own record. One day it won't need defending because it will already be finished. 5 rules. Maybe you're living rule 1 right now. Maybe you already needed rule 5 3 months ago and didn't know it had a name. Building alone was never about the absence of people. It was about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need a crowd to keep going. You don't need someone to witness the grind for it to count. You don't need permission to keep building in the dark. Comment shadow if you're building this alone right now. And watch this next. 5 signs it's time to cut off 90% of the people you know. The Stoic Shadow. Build alone. Stay whole.